Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to HVI Auto. My name is Kendall, for those that don't know me. We're starting this video off in a 2014 911 Turbo. I'm really excited to take this one out. I've got a good friend that owns one of these personally, and I am a big fan of the 911 Turbo series, and I'm curious to see how this one compares to the 2017 Turbo that we reviewed last week. But let's go ahead and take a drive. That was a rolling start up to about 60 miles an hour. As you can see, it's pretty aggressive. I don't know how well you can hear it, but it does sound really nice. I would probably add an exhaust to this thing. I love hearing the engine. I love hearing the little burbles and pops, but that's just me. Now, this car is a 3.8 liter engine, which is pretty hefty for the size and weight of this car. You're producing about 520 to the wheel, if I remember correctly, and for an all-wheel drive car, that's really good, and it's a fun amount of power where it's that sweet spot of I like that house a lot. You've got a really good power plant to begin with, but you can really build off the power. Like I mentioned a little bit ago, I've got a friend that owns a 911.1 Turbo S. He's got a Turbo S, but we're gonna just Turbo in general. But you can really build off the power on the stock block. Now, he's got his pushing around 800 to 900 to the wheel, which is a lot of power, and again, all-wheel drive, tons of fun. Especially maybe if you want to like drive this car in the snow. I don't know what you want to do with this car, but you can drive it in the snow if you wanted to. I don't know if you'd get stuck. I don't know, the ground clearance isn't that great, but you would have a lot of fun doing some donuts. Now, what's nice is this car has the Sports and Sport Plus mode. You've got that active aero really helping with the downforce. You've got your automatic start-stop on this. This one does have a sunroof in there. Nice creature comforts with this car. I like the black on black interior. I think it's one of the more timeless and classy looks of Porsche, and that's for the ones that don't really want to have the full red interior or the red on black or the beige. If you want just something stealthy and sporty, you add a little bit of window tint. If you want to add a little bit of tint, you can add some really cool wheels, and you can make this a very, very stealthy looking car. One of my takes if I ever owned a 911 Turbo. At some point I will. But with the PDK transmission, you got really sharp shifting ability. You can add a tune to the PDK. I believe M Engineering does a PDK tune, so you can make the shifting points very, very sharp, just like with the 991.2 Turbo that we reviewed last week. I like the upgraded interior of the 991.2, but honestly, the two cars they're almost so similar. I'd love to take them on like a drag strip and see who outperforms the other. Now, getting a quick look at this interior is a full black on black with a little bit of silver trim around the interior. I like this. This is one of my favorite. I'll call this like a safe spec to go with. It's always going to be clean. It's going to be classy looking, especially paired. You got the clock right there. You've got the classic PDK center console right here. I think it's just a very clean look. It's very aesthetic, and it's something safe for everyone to go with in case you're looking for your first 911 and you don't want something crazy. You don't want a crazy spec. The black on black is very classy, and it's very tasteful in my opinion. You got two additional seats back here along with these sport comfort seats. These are fully adjustable seats, which is really, really nice because you can go that 0 to 60 in like 2.3 seconds, but still have a very comfortable ride doing it. Getting a look at that interior again from the outside. Again, just a simple and clean exterior. Something I love about 911s is just how iconic and timeless the interiors look, even with any sort of color combination. You got that full black on black look with the silver spoked wheels. Now, I kind of like these. I'm a little bit indifferent. These were on the white 2017 Turbo that we reviewed. If you remember that one, it had the black finish on the faces. I don't know what I like a little bit more. I don't really like black wheels, but I also don't really like these. I don't know, just my opinion, but for a factory wheel, it's not too shabby looking. Fitment is pretty good. You got some Michelin tires on there. They're 245 35 20s in the front, and then you have a 305 30 20 on the back. So it's a pretty decent setup, especially when you are launching it and going back and forth on the drag strip if you choose to take that route with the 911 Turbo. So checking out the front space, you can see my camera bags in there. It's occupying a little bit of putting it right there. You can put two backpacks or probably two duffel bags in here, which is pretty impressive. Good amount of space and size if you want to put groceries in there or go on a road trip. Now, this one does have a sunroof. It doesn't look like it, but this whole unit does scooch back onto the back glass. It looks really nice, really, really classy. One thing I love about the 911 Turbo is, of course, the active aero. This wing is in the upright position right now. It does activate when you are going up to speeds, or you can manually activate it and just have it up all the time. I really love the deck lid right here. very sporty. But just the back half of this car looks so good right now. It's very clean, it's very aggressive. I love the dual quad tipped exhaust. Again, adds that sportiness. I personally would probably add like a Rift exhaust, a tune, and really get this thing up to par. Because it's not a Turbo West, it loses a little bit of power and torque. But again, with a couple of mods, you can really get this thing up to speed. I want to know your thoughts on the 911 Turbo series. Do you like the 991.1 or do you prefer the .2 or even the new 992 Turbo? I think with each iteration they are getting better and better and obviously a lot faster and more powerful. But I'm curious to know, what is your favorite generation of the Turbo? I kind of also like the 997 generation, but that's just me. We just got back to the shop. I forgot to mention that this one only has 31,000 miles, so it is well broken into, but it's got a lot of life ahead of it. Like I've mentioned, you can beat on these engines, you can drive it, you can do launch control as many times as you want. This car can take it. Same thing can be said about the GT3 and the RSs. You can repeatedly beat on this car and it'll just take it, because that is what the 911 Turbo, the GT cars, that's what they're built for. They're built to be driven. I am a very strong believer that the Porsche brand is for drivers. It's for the driver mentality. Those that want to put miles on their cars and not baby them and just sit at home and look at them in a garage. But that's just me. That's my little hot take of the day. Anyways, I would probably drive this car, like I said, I'd probably drive this 7 out of 7 days. It did rain here earlier, so it was a little bit wet outside, but I felt very confident driving. I've got those Michelin tires on here, and you've got all-wheel drive, and it feels very, very comfortable, feels very safe. And that's one thing I like, especially when it comes to sports cars and cars with a lot of powers. You want to feel safe in them at the end of the day. I think the 911 Turbo, for the amount of power and at the price point that you get and the capability that it has to do more, I think you're looking at a very, very sweet car, sweet ride, tons of storage, great visibility, and just an overall fun driving experience. But that's going to wrap it up for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a huge thumbs up. If you're curious about the 911 Turbo, I've left it linked in the description below, so you can check out more photos, check out the price and everything about this 911 Turbo. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.